All right, day 2, here we are. Congrats on making it through day 1. And we are just at the beginning and yet already starting. I want you to think about all of the work that you've done over the years, the personal growth work. You wouldn't be here if you weren't already keeping this in mind, if you weren't already somebody who knew about growth mindset, even if you didn't know that phrase. You're someone that truly desires to be the best version of yourself. And it's definitely possible that you take in a lot of information around this subject, read all of the books, listened to the podcasts. Sometimes when we take in so much information, one little bit at a time, but all over the place, we can feel like we understand the subject matter, but we're not actually embodying it. So this isn't related to day 2, but to this journey as a whole. I just want to plant this little seed that true transformation actually happens one small bit at a time in a focused direction. So if you start to notice over the next few days, when maybe the excitement wears off, that you start to wander off the path, or you have a desire to put it off a little bit, just remember that this one small commitment, this one small area, taking the 10 minutes to focus, make sure you're doing this at some point in the day, in the littlest way, is what will move you towards the direction you want to go. It's not taking in all of the information, all of the ideas, but allowing yourself to take a step back and have one small focus. Okay, so now on to day 2. As always, I want to begin with you just taking a moment to come in and be deeply centered in the place that you're at, so that you can take this information in from a place of deep grounding and from a place of open-minded viewing. So take a moment and feel your root touching the ground in some way. If you're sitting in a seat, where your bottom is, if you're lying down, if your full body. If your feet aren't touching the ground and you're able to, put them on the ground. In whatever way, notice where your body is touching the earth, the ground in some way. Sense that feeling. Go there with your mind and be in it. And now as you do that, I want you to start taking our deep breaths. I want you to relax your tongue down the back of your throat and start to imagine the breath coming in slowly into your body as it goes and fills you from the womb, the sacral area, your belly, and up through the rest of your body till you feel totally full. And as you release, you're releasing twice as long as the breath that you took in. And we'll do this a few more times at your own pace, allowing you to feel the connection of the earth as you take a deep breath in, all the way down, down. And then as it's filling your body, you allow it to release slowly, twice as long as you filled it up. And taking a moment to take one more breath, feeling your whole body slow down, feeling yourself come into deep presence, deep listening of my voice and of your body as you take in the information I'm about to share with you. So day 2 is about meaning. And the meaning that we put on everything in our life. This is a very powerful concept to come in and recognize that we are the ones that put meaning on anything in our life, whether that be physical objects, people, relationships, interactions, our businesses, the way people pay us, the way people interact with us, the way they think about us. We are the ones with the power of meaning to all of it. It can be hard for us to recognize the full breadth of this concept. When we think about how various interactions affect us, it can be easy to give away our power and assume that something actually is truth, when really it's a story that we've placed around it. This often happens in our subconscious and our unconscious until we have come to fully understand this concept. This is something that I took a while to actually really grasp, even after 18 years of personal growth work, after doing A Course in Miracles 12 years ago with a guide, a sponsor alongside me as I did it in 12-step in Al-Anon with my sponsor. I didn't really understand this until about 2 years ago when someone I was learning from a teacher of mine explained it in a way where it finally flipped. And it became actually quite earth-shattering to understand this concept and how it can lead me to become, and it led me to become, a much more empowered, sovereign person. And that's because once you recognize that you are the one, your mind, and then the body and the feelings that we have out of the stories we have, the meaning we've put on something, you're the one that does that. When you become conscious of the fact that you've put the meaning, you have the power to give meaning to anything in your life. And you can take the power back that you've given away. So to give you kind of a frame of this idea, I want to talk about it and give you just a concept, basically. When you go into a store and there are TVs on the wall and you're thinking about buying a TV, those TVs on the wall have no meaning. You may look at the function of them, the various aspects that are beneficial to you. Is it a smart TV? How many apps can it have? These things, though, they don't matter. They don't have meaning. They don't have depth to them. But once you buy that TV and you put it in your house and you start having weekly family movie nights, and it becomes a ritual that you and your kids get to spend time together and make popcorn and laugh and really enjoy each other's company. And it's a core memory that gets developed. That TV starts to have meaning, starts to feel like something that matters in your life. You may not even realize how much meaning, because there's meaning in the experience, but that TV becomes attached to that story, to that experience. And so when it gets stolen or broken, in fact, my son just a few weeks ago had a temper tantrum and his water bottle went right into the TV and it's broken. We haven't had TV now for, goodness, almost 6 weeks. And I felt that tinge, but I recognize the meaning around it and that I don't actually have to be attached to that meaning. So I want you to now take that frame of reference on a simple object and widen out the view of how it affects your whole life. So this daily practice, we're going to start to help to rewire your brain, to help you recognize that we get to decide on the meanings that anything in our life has. Everything in our life has. And when we have that pull of attachment that starts to make us feel bad from the inside, this little tiny daily practice is the first seed of planting to be able to release that attachment. But I want to speak to one thing that is also very important. I want you to recognize that meaning is not bad at all. This is an area that some spiritual paths can want us to detach completely from all meaning. But in my viewpoint, in the lineages that have connected me deeply, I learned that we are meaning-making beings. This is what makes us as humans so special. And it is the meaning we put around life that we have and the attachment that gives us so much depth and feeling in life. This is so important. And it's so important that we recognize that getting rid of our attachment to meaning, that is not actually what we're trying to do. What we're trying to do is become conscious and empowered through the meaning that we put on anything and everything in our life. So now, the daily practice. This is simple, just like yesterday. And I really just want you to do this twice today. It should, in the end, only take you a few minutes each time you do it. I want you to take some moments. You can go on a walking meditation again, or if you don't have time, wherever you are in the moment, in your house, in your office, on the street, even while driving, as long as you're paying attention to the road, I want you to pick 10 things. Notice what they are. Notice that the item, object, thing itself is totally neutral. The person, the place, whatever. Ideally, you do have some living beings in these 10 things. And there's no specific need for them to be all important things or not important things. In fact, it's better if it's a mix. And I want you to notice how that item, person, thing is actually totally neutral outside of the meaning that you have put on it. And I want you to look at that item, that thing, that person, that place as neutral. And at the same time, notice what meaning have you given to it without judgment, without shame, without thought per se, if you can. Just notice what meaning you have on it. That's it. Do this twice today. Journal on some reflections if you have a chance. And enjoy your day. All right. See you tomorrow.